All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Councilor Woods.
Here.
Councilor Daigle.
Present.
Councilor Sarnowski.
Here.
Councilor Smalley.
Here.
Councilor Hamilton. Councilor Whitaker.
Here.
Mayor Sumner.
Here. Any media present? Anyone wishing to speak before City Council tonight on any subject matter will need to fill out a speaker form and turn it into the recorder. Forms are available on the sign-in table in the back of the room. Please turn cell phones off or silence them during the meeting. Any on-agenda items? Anyone wanting to speak on that? Announcement for Zoom attendees. If you're joining tonight's meeting via Zoom, you will automatically be muted upon entry, and you'll need to identify yourself if your full name is not already attached to the device being used. You will be unable to unmute yourself. Public comments will only be taken if prior notification was given to the city recorder. Public comment. The purpose of this public comment period is to allow citizens to present information or raise issues regarding agenda items only. There will be time at the end of the meeting for citizens to speak about off-agenda items. A time limit of 3 minutes per citizen shall apply. All citizens must come up to the microphone. And having that at this time, we'll move on to consent agenda for February 10th, 2025 minutes. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve minutes from February 10th.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Let's vote.
Councilor Woods.
Aye.
Councilor Daigle.
Aye.
Councilor Sarnowski.
Aye.
Councilor Smalley.
Aye.
Councilor Hamilton.
Aye.
Councilor Whitaker.
Aye.
Mayor Sumner.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
On to council business, resolution 2025.04, public works surplus. Aaron.
Mayor, Council, Aaron Swan, Public Works. As usual, we try to keep our equipment kind of rotating and new, and these are just things that these two pickups are, past their useful life here, and we've replaced them, so we're just getting rid of them to make room. And that other list, the Cushman cart, we bought that for water flowers on Central, and the batteries aren't staying charged, and we have all those set up through water lines anyways. We don't have to do that anymore. The grasshopper mower's broke down, it no longer works, and we just don't use those other things, so we're looking to get rid of them. The options, I guess, would be to approve the resolution declaring these items surplus property or not approve.
Do I have a motion?
I move that we sell that property. Is that what you want?
A motion to approve resolution 2025.04, public works surplus.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
You've got 5 these things, I'm assuming.
Yep. We're used up.
It was over 20 years. Let's vote.
Councilor Woods.
Aye.
Councilor Daigle.
Aye.
Councilor Sarnowski.
Aye.
Councilor Smalley.
Aye.
Councilor Hamilton.
Aye.
Councilor Whitaker.
Aye.
Mayor Sumner.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
On to advanced meter infrastructure pilot program, staff report.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. Tammy Trowbridge, Finance Director. Aaron is doing this with me, but he's just not as enthusiastic about it as I am, is what he told me. So he said I was it. We would like to ask your permission to move forward, spending $50,000 out of the water construction fund for a pilot project on an advanced metering infrastructure pilot program. We've been concerned about the city's metering system for some time. We have at least two problems. Our infrastructure is quickly becoming outdated, as well as becoming harder to efficiently and cost effectively get accurate reads. Tried a couple different methods, and about 7 years ago we had outsourced the meter reading component, and it was the most effective option at the time. Okay, they had told us, I mean, the price that they came in at the time was great, and they were able to get, I would say, almost 100% of the reads, or at least they were invested in doing that initially. Well, their costs have increased 84% over the last 7 years, and even with that, the level of service has decreased. We consistently have to send staff out to get reads or rereads because of inaccuracies. Meters are sitting in water, just all sorts of things. They have all sorts of reasons. Sometimes they can't find them. The other problem we have is when you've got a person out there and they're reading the meter, our customers, our citizens, think that they are city staff. So they'll come out there and tell them about a problem they're having or this or that. Well, these people are on a very short time frame. That information never gets back to us. So it helps cause some friction already there because people can think that we're non-responsive because of that. Metering technology also has changed significantly over the years. It's added to our dilemma over time. We didn't want to make a significant switchover and then be told in a couple of years there was new technology and the system was again outdated. We've been researching this problem for almost 3 years, and we've got it narrowed down to two different types of systems, two different types of providers, and they are different types of systems. We're continuing to check references and analyzing pricing and service and asking questions regarding reliability, usability, accuracy, equipment life, and replacement. But I just want to tell you some of the reasons that we have been going after this, besides the fact that we have aging infrastructure and it's hard to get accurate reads the way it is, and it takes a lot of staff time, not only with Public Works having to go out there again. And I'm not saying that this is going to be the magic pill and all of that is going to go away, but we are going to see a huge change. I know that, but we also have utility billing folks, and we're constantly having to get rereads. There'll be inaccurate reads. People will call us being very angry about, this or that. There's no way I use that much water. The other problem is that if they spring a leak 2 days after their water meter was read, we won't know about it for another 28 days till it's read again. So you've got basically a whole month of additional usage. And so that's going to be an additional bill. It's going to take water, usable water, out of the system that we have. So this system, you would be able to see a change in usage immediately. You would set alarms up at whatever levels, and those things, it would come up with these different alarms showing you those things. And that helps with conservation, that helps with customer service. People are going to be really happy when you call them and say, we've seen a difference in your water usage. You might want to take a look at if you have a leak. And they don't have to, but at least they've been given a courtesy call to get a heads up. It's also launches us down a path to improve our infrastructure. And I believe we're going to have to improve our infrastructure at some time. We've got a lot of aging meters in the ground anyway. This will bring us up to date with meters that would integrate with this system that will automatically read. So is it by towers, right? It's a radio system. Yeah. There's a couple different systems of reading, both of them. They're two different systems, but one of them, anyway, basically you push a button and the reads come in on the system and then you process your bills. And one of these companies, we're going to make sure that they can actually deliver, have promised us 100% coverage, even with the weirdness of going out on Corel and things like that. So it could be a very exciting thing. We had budgeted $400,000 for the project implementation in the current year. our estimate is that that total project will cost anywhere from 1.2 to 1.5 million dollars. And so we were going to phase it in, is what we had thought, but we're not ready to commit to that level of investment yet. So both systems offer a pilot program in the amount of $50,000. And we are asking for permission to move forward with that pilot program with one of the two different suppliers once our due diligence is complete. And your options are to approve moving forward with an AMI pilot program or not to approve moving forward with an AMI pilot program.
What is, can we ask questions now?
No, let's get a motion on the floor.
I move that we approve moving forward with an AMI pilot program.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Now we can discuss.
Okay, so what does the pilot program do for $50,000? Is that just our researching it?
No. They're going to bring in a certain number of meters. They're going to
It'll be on a small scale first.
very small scale.
And those costs are those to the customer? Is that going to be the cost to the city?
That's our cost.
Our cost, so it won't go on to the meters. The responsibility of replacing the meters won't be on the cost of the citizens.
Exactly. That is the city's investment in our infrastructure.
And if we chose to move forward with that system, would that $50,000 be part of would that go towards us upgrading everything?
Absolutely. I mean, the way I understand it, those meters, we will have purchased those meters. We will have purchased a tower or some sort of collector system to bring the reads in for those. Is that correct, Aaron? Go ahead.
Yep, we will have, so the meters are in place. If we like them, they'll just stay in place. They're already paid for. And the collectors and the connectors, they're all the towers, they'll be there as well.
What if we don't like them?
Then, then we have to sell those. We can, they do offer a purchase back at obviously we lose a little bit there, but all right, we are anticipating liking the system. What's not to like? It's gonna read these things for us. And
Is there like a service fee, like if you sign up for like Dish or whatever, so that they're like a monitoring system every month, they're charging the city to do the monitoring?
There is
of that?
proprietary payment.
And what does that look like on a monthly scale?
That isn't involved in the pilot program. And we would come back with that with the recommendation for moving forward because both of the systems are different. They have different prices.
So do we have an idea of what that looks like, or is that just something that we don't know yet?
I can give you those figures tomorrow in our finance committee meeting. I have them on my desk. I just didn't bring them over there because it wasn't actually part of that.
So does that also mean that if there becomes an error within the system, did they come out and fix that error, or is that something that we have to bring in another
They do offer support.
at a cost?
I don't believe so.
Are we trying both systems to see which one we like better?
No, we're gonna pick the best one and go with number one.
Jerry probably won't like this, but I have to tell you how it started out. When I started in 1993, it was,
I was gonna say.
we rarely had computers then, because I think they were just starting to come on. Anyway, so we had one guy, Joe Gardner, and he would go out. We had about 20 notebooks that were about this size. He'd come in and take a couple of books out, and he would hand write every meter read in town. He'd bring it back to me. I had to enter each one. We didn't have the population that we do now, but that's how we started out.
Wow.
So I just thought that was kind of a fun fact.
So
How many meters did it start with? About?
One of them's offering a few more than the other one. I think we've gotten 70
70
some
with one and
Mueller and
So you don't need one
150.
for every address.
well, we're not
On our
for the, not on the pilot.
on the pilot
Oh.
program. We have about 3,200 residential meters in town.
How does the collection system work? Does it go to our city hall or?
Yep, it goes to some connectors. For one of them, it goes to some connectors that go to the collector towers. And then it goes to, right to Roberta's desk.
So that eliminates somebody actually physically going out to actually read the meters. It's all
Yeah.
done electronically.
Yeah, and like Tammy said, that any day of the month, she can pull that read if someone calls and has a question, or if, and they're, like she said, they're flagged for leaks, so it'll pop up on our computer that whatever address is leaking, or it appears to be a leak, high usage, and then we can send somebody to go check that out.
Does a report have to be done for that to happen, or is there some sort of backfill safe that will automatically alert saying there's an excessive use of water consumption?
Yeah, you set your alarms for whatever levels you want to see, and those things will pop up. You know, if you have 10 issues that you have that are over your usage or outside of their average usage, you get to pick the kind of alarm you want reporting to you every morning.
Okay. Thank you.
And you said now we have somebody read the meters for us, like the city doesn't.
We have an outside contractor that's been doing it for 7 years.
How long does it take them, you know, to read the whole?
Well, it originally took them 3 days. Now they're running right about 5.
So in 5 days to reach the whole city for the month.
They're slightly unreliable, and some of their reads are inaccurate, where it's gonna be up around, well, it's gonna be about $58,000 this year for that service.
Do we have any kind of repercussions for them if they're inaccurate?
Well, I mean, it's really hard to guarantee. I mean, that's what our goal is, to fire them. How's that?
But didn't they take a thing to read it? They weren't actually reading it themselves, right?
They have a touch read.
So a lot of our old meters that Debbie will remember when we put those census meters in the late 90s, they were an AMR system. And some of them, you still have radios that you can do a touch read. So they're not opening the lid and looking in at the box or at the actual meter, which is something they promised to do every month so we get eyes on the meter, make sure there was no problem. Now they're doing a lot of touch reads. They're going as fast as they can.
But it's taking them longer. Go figure.
Well, since COVID, they've had trouble getting, I know it's a terrible excuse, but since then they've really struggled to get competent, quality folks, and it's, the service is just in the tank.
Is this a local company that's doing this now?
They're a Northwest company. I think they're out of Portland.
You see them in a little
Vancouver.
Yamaha
Right,
scooter
Right.
thing almost.
Do you know any other cities around that have this sort of a setup?
We have been
We
doing,
visited a few.
Like John College, Drain, Roseburg, and Big Close?
Oh, right here. Well, Winston has a similar system. Roseburg is also looking into changing their system right now. They have census, I think, and they're like we do, and they're looking to change it up. But we went to visit Sandy. They have a system. They're very similarly sized to us, and they're also spread out just geographically like we are. They really like their modern system.
And
Been to
overall system, you're thinking like, what'd you say, 1.2 million or something like that for all in?
between 1.2 and 1.5, depending on what the contractors are gonna cost to actually install the meters. That's a little bit of an unknown right now. I haven't seen a quote on that, but on the meters themselves, it'll probably be between 1 and 1.2.
Are these meters compatible to the way things are plumbed in right now? Is it gonna have to change something major to hook them up?
It's a overall, yeah, it's a whole new deal. But our census meters that are working can get the new kind of radios, and we're not.
Yeah, but I mean physically hooking it up to the water line.
Oh, a whole new.
But I want to be in that, can you just unscrew the water lines?
Oh, yeah.
The old meter out and
Yeah,
put
yeah,
the new
yeah.
one in?
They have the fittings are the same.
Same, okay.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah.
Any other discussion? All right, ready to vote?
Counselor Woods,
Aye.
Counselor Daigle,
Aye.
Counselor Sarnoski? Counselor Small?
I like seeing the meter reader guys, so I'm gonna say no.
Even though they're inaccurate.
Old school, sorry.
Counselor Hamilton?
Aye.
Counselor Whitaker?
Aye.
Mayor Summer?
Aye,
Motion carries.
I like technology. On to Red Rock Road improvements.
I'm going to yield to Christie. She and I conferred today and we have an answer for you.
Okay,
So last week we were down and dumb. This week, we're all smart and bright. So,
okay, let's hear it.
show us. So, as you can see, the simple outline of what it would take to open Red Rock Road. After further discussions today, consulting with Chad, it appears that there's more to it than what we originally had outlined. If you look at the proximity to Heavenly Court and to this one, there's actually 5 feet between the property lines, maybe pacing off about 30 feet physically. And so then knowing that we have 2 actual street openings in that close proximity, that we're not traffic engineers for us to identify that there's no safety concerns or opening this road in the state that it is in would cause safety concerns or not. We actually feel that we need to probably look into this a little bit more, consult with an actual traffic engineer for them to identify any safety concerns, do the additional due diligence before we are ready to move into that direction.
Let me say, we want to do it. I don't want anybody to think that we're doing this, but because the Heavenly Court Road going into Heavenly Court and Red Rock Road are so close, it's actually against our own code. So the best way to bring forth an argument to justify it is to get a third-party certified traffic engineer to tell us that since there's only like a dozen or a couple dozen homes on there and the access to that road is just limited to them, that we could safely open this road up and not cause harm to people. And that's what we got to figure out. So we want to do it, but at the end of the day, what we're going to move forward with is hiring an engineer to give us analysis to move forward in that direction and then bring a case to you to allow for 2 roadways to be that close. Sorry, I decided to cut to the chase.
If that's the direction you want us to go, of course.
Yeah, I know in the past, does it have to be a road? Can we make it a parking lot? Because I know in the past that's been discussed, with turn that entire thing into a parking lot with an exit on both ends.
It's still a road access though. It's traffic. It's
Well,
a
That's
road
the
path.
issue, is the road access. So even if it's
that
a
was the
parking lot,
guy's-
it's
Right.
the same rules still apply.
well, we
Sorry, Christie.
do use it for parking during the rodeo or some of the Blackberry stuff, and so we open those gates and let people come in and park, but
I
it's not a
think
constant.
I think they were trying to have it be just be a permanent open area.
Right.
Well, and it probably makes a difference than being gravel and not paved.
Yeah.
too,
So at this point, before we go further on this, do you want a motion to move forward for a traffic engineering study?
Yeah, and maybe how much time and money do you want us to invest into this road particularly? Is this the route you want us to pursue? Looking at it as,
Do we want to just have a discussion right now on some issues and then maybe you come back next meeting with a recommendation on what it would entail? Can we do that? Of what your actual
A consensus. if we want
motion
a
would be?
Engineer.
I go to the rodeo meetings pretty regularly. I can find out what they actually are looking for before we get too carried away and into this.
well, and we were going based on the request at the last council meeting when they
A
asked
citizen
to
of
open
asking to open the
Yeah.
road, not
as
only
a
what the
tourist
rodeo
journey
wants.
to eliminate
Well,
traffic
that
on
was
Central.
rodeo.
He's the rodeo
board.
guy.
Yeah.
He's the president.
Because I sit in on the meetings pretty regularly. And I know this is something they've been discussing for a while, but I'm not really sure exactly what they're asking. I know they had a meeting tonight, but I didn't make it, so they usually have them the same nights we do. So maybe the next one I'll drop in and.
But what I want to know if we want to discuss different things or do we want to have a motion right now?
I think we should discuss
Why
them.
don't we bring back to you,
Okay.
now that we know this, what an engineer's analysis would say, he can tell us exactly what they want. And we could even actually look into it to go so far as to at least get an estimate on what it would cost to asphalt it.
Okay.
So just a
Is that-
consensus.
Do you mind that, Madam Mayor?
No, but I have a couple other
Staff,
things
are you
I
okay with
have,
that?
I have thoughts about this road. I kind of thought about as well. I wanted to bring up. Besides the Heavenly Court, that road goes right along a whole bunch of houses that are even closer than Heavenly Court. And I'm concerned about the impact on the houses that it's going to go right up against. If it stays gravel, you're going to have a lot of dust going up against these houses and how that's going to impact them and how they feel about that. The other thing is I know just because of the corner house, they had to sign something every year because of the potential of, I believe it was arsenic in the ground due to the railroad ties. And if that, mercury was it? Okay, mercury. Then, and is that going to be an issue with cars more often driving up and down? Is that going to come out? And how is that going to impact people? And then also brought in here potential of fog lines and center lines and putting that on gravel. How is that going to be maintained off and on? So I think those are some things that we have to take into consideration when we're talking to people. And the final thing is this could potentially be a lot of money, and we've already made lists and plans of where our traffic and roads money for the city is going. And so all of a sudden this is kind of jumping and taking money from other streets that have been waiting their turn. And now all of a sudden this kind of just jumps the line. And so I'm not really sure if this is everybody's plan that's a priority over other projects that seem to be a priority beforehand. Now, maybe it is and maybe it isn't, but I think that should be thought about.
It's been discussed through Parks Committee. That section of the top discussed ad nauseum. I mean, we've had so many plans for that piece of that strip. So I don't necessarily think it has to be tied into the roads plan. I mean, if we put that in the Parks master plan, is that something that needs to be addressed? We can address that probably from the Parks angle as opposed to the roads angle.
But is that going to come out of Parks money then?
I don't see why not. It would come out of the Parks budget if it's a Parks project or a Parks grant.
Maybe. The Parks grant.
Because we have to do a Parks master plan on it. We're in the process of doing that right now. So that's something that we could potentially tie that into as well.
Oh, how are you for the days when they were simple?
Just open the gates, right?
Yeah.
Through there.
So just things to think about.
Well, one of the main reasons was just give another east-west or west-east thoroughfare because Central was ridiculous. So
Make a great bypass.
I think eventually it's going to be a road. And I don't see any problem with hiring a traffic person to tell us how to make that work.
Do you want us to bring back a traffic engineer's estimate first? So you can see what that cost will be? Our typical traffic analysis that just have a scope of work clearly identified are about $15,000. So I would anticipate that study to be similar, if I was to guess. But I can get that estimate and bring it back.
It's something we're gonna need, whether we do it now or whether we do it 3 years from now, we're gonna have to do it.
I also agree with the mayor on not jumping it ahead of other projects that have been kind of in the queue waiting for their turn. So not just because one person has come forward and said, hey, let's do this, even though it's been discussed in the parks.
But I think it's already, it
Consideration.
has been discussed and it's already in line eventually, right? Hasn't it? On our list.
Really?
A lot of them are development driven, so as the parks grow, I would anticipate the improvements going as with those others.
Because we have a plan in place for our road systems already. I mean, we should be following those, right?
Well, there's a road construction kind of plan, and then there's a road maintenance plan. It's not in the road maintenance plan, which I think is what you guys are talking about, it jumping ahead in line.
Right, okay.
But that plan also, we don't, it's not etched in stone, because roads change. One can look like it's okay and it'll be good for 5 more years, and then it just blows up and it moves ahead. And so that's pretty fluid. It's not that a certain road's waiting its turn patiently and then it finally gets it. Those things get jumped a lot.
Okay.
That's why we don't set it up that ironclad for that very reason.
Thank you for clarifying it.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of houses built somewhere, and then all of a sudden that road's tore up, and so we need to do something there. Yeah.
I think what he was talking about was that the Parks Master Plan is almost under construction. Okay, we're gonna actually be talking about it tomorrow night. And that part of the road situation is going to feed a large part of the park system. And if we can fold that into the parks development plan as opposed to the road development plan, then we can get a grant, hopefully. And at least some of the costs would be paid for.
I like that.
But I still think that we ought to have the engineering part done so that we know that we're not doing something that doesn't make sense.
Right. Okay, so do you need to come back with anything for us to do that, or can we go ahead and make that motion tonight?
Good, Mayor.
Okay. Do I have a motion to move forward with an engineering analysis? Yes.
A quote or an analysis? Because the analysis is gonna cost us money, whereas the other's not, just to get a quote.
Well, the quote's only gonna give us a
How much
price
it's gonna
on doing their analysis.
I
They're
know,
not gonna tell us anything.
We don't wanna just go, hey, let's go ahead and do it without.
We don't need a motion if all you want us to do is get the quote.
That's why I was
Bring that-
asking.
Bring that back
We
to
want-
the next meeting.
We want to get the analysis done, right?
But I don't know, that's a vote.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Or we
asking.
can consult with the traffic engineer and then let you know our findings, and we'll advance as we
That's what we
figure
need
out
to do. We
what
don't
they
need to have
advise
any.
us. Because they may give us a scope that's broader than what we're able to handle.
Okay, so
We'll keep you updated,
all
and
right,
then we'll move forward.
that sounds
We'll bring
good.
it back if we need, council approval.
Okay, that sounds good. Perfect. Let's move on. On to streetlight upgrade project, staff report. You're up again.
This one's way simpler.
Thank God.
So, as you guys are very familiar with, the complaints and or requests for streetlight improvements, about almost a year ago now, we reached out to Pacific Power to inquire about that. One example was that somebody said they have no streetlights on their street, and there was actually 4, but they were the old amber streetlights, and so they didn't radiate down to the street very well. So through this improvement project, Pacific Power now has the opportunity, they've done an analysis, there's 459 streetlights that would qualify for this improvement. It's approximately $90,000, not $90, $89,792. However, by having this at tonight's meeting and getting our application submitted for the Energy Trust, that say first thing tomorrow morning, that would qualify us for almost $45,000 credit. So we could get 495 streetlights upgraded for $45,000.
And ROI is,
A return on investment.
okay, it didn't.
So that shows approximately 6 years to get that money back, just in those annual cost savings that we'll get from converting them to LEDs. However, that would be significantly, well, it would be cut in half based on the Energy Trust if we qualify for that reimbursement. So tonight we would look to you to approve moving forward with this, the streetlight upgrade in the amount of $89,792, with the potential to qualify for almost half of it back from the Energy Trust.
Are these all in residential areas, or are they, the streetlights also, some of them on Central?
They're all
All
of the
over?
Pacific Power streetlights. Yeah, so that we have a few that, for example, the street light that's in the parking lot across from the community center that is actually our street light. And so that one's not one of them, but they're all of the street lights that are in the residential, plus all of the roadways. And so we've actually, they have, what's it called, night? There's a 3,000 and a 4,000, what am I, lumen. And so in that,
The dark
we are
sky.
the dark sky. And so in that, we're requesting the 4,000 along Central, and the rest of them in the residential will be 3,000.
These aren't these weird purple ones, are
No. Not to my knowledge.
they? Because I've seen a lot of the purple ones popping up everywhere, and they're all the new LEDs.
Clear.
The 3000s have a little bit of a yellowish look, and the 4000s are whiter, but not anywhere near the bluish.
Yeah, I don't know what the.
It should all be 4.
What?
It should all be 4.
Well, they said that they received some complaints, a lot of complaints
Oh,
when they put too bright, when they're too bright in residential.
Well, going
That's
into
what I mean.
windows.
They said that's problematic. People don't like it shining in their window.
I see, okay.
What they don't like it when they can't see either.
That's a fact.
Blackout shades, first one.
Where's that area where this is gonna go?
All over town.
Anywhere
The
there's a
brighter
street
ones will be
light.
along Central, and then the 3000s will be in the neighborhoods. Where they're already at. We're not putting in any new ones.
So there was a lady here some time ago asking for better lighting in her
Hers?
neighborhood. Is that covering her?
Yes, and hers actually is one of the old amber ones, so I went up one morning on my way to work and it was one of the older amber ones, so this should also benefit her neighborhood.
Control these for the
Yes, because the ones west have already been.
Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the streetlight upgrade project in the amount of $89,792 with a potential Energy Trust incentive of $44,896.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Can we just do that?
No, this one.
I'll second.
Let's vote.
Counselor Woods,
Aye.
Counselor Daigle,
Aye.
Counselor Sarnowski.
Aye.
Counselor Smalley.
Aye.
Counselor Hamilton,
Aye.
Counselor Whitaker.
Aye.
Mayor Summer.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
On to city manager report.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of council, with regards to the distribution of the environmental analysis over on Oak Street. So we think we have a solution. So it's about 1,600 pages, and we spent half a day getting all printed up. It's bound, and it's at City Hall. Anybody who wants to come read it for free, they can come to the lobby and watch it and read it however they want. For those who want to see it that can't come in during the week and would only be available on weekends, we're going to take it over to the library and allow people to see it. Now, what Bo has discovered, and you know this because you did it, we created a get whatever you want on a CD for minutes or whatever copy, and that's just a $15 charge. So he's getting some thumb drives that will accommodate that 1,600 and put it on a thumb drive, and anybody can come pay $15 and get that environmental report and hole up in their house for a weekend and read it. So that's going well. Houseman's are here tonight. I think we're on to having an agreement. Aaron and Counselor Whitaker met with you guys, and I think we have the basis of an agreement. And we're just waiting for you to bring us something back.
He sent it today,
Oh,
and
okay.
so I
haven't
talked
seen
with Aaron, and I was gonna send you something back, but I could just tell you. They will be working on that, should have something back to you by the end of the week around.
Yeah, we only have one other addition we want to put into it, and we're gonna talk about that at our staff meeting. And it's nothing earth shattering. So I think that's going well. We have the open house scheduled for March 24th. In the meantime, Kim Eater came and asked that we do a mailer to the whole community, and I agreed to that. Our staff are putting that together now. There will be a mailer, a nice color brochure inviting people to an open house on the 24th of March, and that'll be going out sometime in the next week or so, right? They've been working. It's fun. I don't do that kind of labor. That's too heavy for me to do. But everybody has some at their desk, and they're full them in between phone calls and other stuff. It's kind of fun to watch that and go neener. Then I want to remind you of a real important finance workshop that's coming up at your next council meeting, which is why we wanted to do this, to free that up. So the chief has his advisory committee coming. We're going to invite the budget committee, and we'd like for you to be there as well. And thank Councilor Daigle for inspiring that next move, and any members of the community to come find out what other cities are facing like us and what they're doing about it. And that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Remember, for council comments, monthly meeting time is limited. Please ask questions or make statements that are likely to benefit the group. Individual comments and questions that can be handled on a one-on-one basis should be handled outside the meeting. Councilor Woods.
I just have a question for Aaron. Sorry, Aaron. 6th Street on, I can't recall the 6th Avenue where Family Church is. That pothole, it's back.
So right at Branton and
Yeah, that
6th,
street, yes, right
right
there.
at that intersection.
Is that the one where you took me out and somebody said it broke their whole axle? And was
Yeah, I don't doubt that. It's pretty swervy to get around that, and
Good
I see
idea.
a lot of people trying to swerve around it. And what can we do to get that fixed the correct
Fill it in.
way? Fill it in.
We just got some cold patch. We'll take it up there.
All right, that'd be appreciated. And then also wanted to congratulate Officer
John
John Roush on his being nominated or awarded the Officer of the Year for our department. So congratulations to him.
Congratulations to Alan Woods, who graduated from the academy last week.
I was getting there, Terry.
I wasn't sure if you were going to talk about your husband then.
Yes, I am. And yes, I want to say congratulations to Officer Woods for completing the 16 weeks, which was actually 19 weeks at the academy. So good job for completion of that, and happy to see him on our streets now.
And back home.
And back home.
Yes. Councilor Daigle.
Most women want to get their husband off the streets.
I like that.
I have something I'd like to kind of have people think about. I've talked to a lot of people who, and me included, I used to come to these council meetings, and I always wondered why nobody ever asked any questions. And of course, we do somewhat, but I sat in the audience a lot of times, and they voted on things without really talking about it very much. And I thought, I would like to explain to people how the council actually works, and that each one of us only have one vote, so that means it's up to the group more than each individual, but also let people know that we actually have to do investigations of the topics before the meetings, and we have to go to like the city hall and talk to the employees and find out what's going on. But I don't think a lot of people know that. They just think we come here and say yes to everything, and I think it would be a lot more transparent for the citizens to know really how it works. I actually didn't know how it worked until I got on the council. Anyhow, that's
That'd be
all
a
I
good bulletin article.
Yeah. Want to write something for that?
What?
The news bulletin? Right, kind of just put that down in a little article?
Yeah,
Okay, April's.
April,
We'll have Nancy help you, she's a professional writer. So.
okay. Well, I write a lot of BS, so. Yeah,
Anything else?
that's all.
Okay. Counselor Sarnowski.
I'm good.
All right. Counselor Smalley.
I'll pass, and nothing.
All right. Counselor Hamilton.
I don't think I have anything. Other than, okay, never mind. I want to say congratulations to John. It's well deserved. I was excited that he was chosen. And to Officer Woods being back, because my first thought was, oh, I bet Lisa's glad he's home finally. But anyway, and thanks again to the Lions for doing President's Day, putting our flags out.
Yes, definitely. Councilor President Whitaker.
I have a question as to when you're gonna put on the website, the people that are gonna be in the bandstand.
That's already been done.
It was, my son
Oh, on
said he
the-
looked on there a
Oh,
couple
on
of
the
days ago.
website, Dan does that. I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, okay.
I was gonna say, it's been announced on.
Yeah, there was 3 or 4 people that asked me, who's the band? I said,
Tell
look on
him
the
to check
website.
our Facebook page too.
Okay. All right, so somebody already said, Aaron and I met with the Housemans late last week. We spent about 3 hours talking about Fort Pond and all of the different things out there, and what the city's responsibility was and what Friends were offering to do. And it was a very amiable meeting, and we got a wonderful secretary that can take wonderful notes. And so she sent us all of her notes, which I got today, and I think you got too. And then Jim sent a letter and the revised agreement. But we haven't had the chance to look at it yet. Just read it briefly. So anyway, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to get together with the mayor. And we're going to talk about that and get that thing done this week so that we can put that to bed and move forward. Parks Advisory Committee meets tomorrow night, and we're going to talk about the master plan, which is really exciting for me because we've been working to get that thing done for 3 years or so. And that will include the rodeo grounds, Hartley Park, Sutherland Rec lands, what they're going to do in the future, all of that sort of thing. So we're looking forward to getting that started tomorrow night.
All right. And I don't have a lot either. I just want to thank or congratulate John Roush and Officer Woods as well. And thanks everybody for coming. I know it was a special meeting, so I appreciate all of that. And lastly, I'd like to do public comment. The purpose of public comment is to allow citizens to present information regarding items off the agenda. Time limit of 3 minutes per citizen shall apply. I have one. Kim, would you like to come up?
First of all, I apologize for the in and out coughing. Ventilation seems to set me off in some places. You answered the question, when are the notices going out for the workforce housing? I just missed that because I was in the lobby.
In the next week.
In the next week. And can somebody please tell me when is the next task force meeting? Has that been decided? And can you tell me when the last task force meeting was?
I don't remember. Remember, the task force is basically a committee, is my committee. And I haven't found a reason to get them together till we get the 501c3 done. So I think we finished the 501c3 language over the weekend. You guys all saw my 6-page menagerie. But as soon as we get the 501c3 application into the IRS and we have an endpoint there, then we'll bring the task force together.
Okay, Ken, I asked this question last, meeting. Why were the 2 dates that were on the website for the task force meeting removed? And those weren't all of the task force dates that were included. So I would like to know why those were removed, when those dates are going to be restored on there. There are people that have asked and that people want to know, aside from me. It's been so long, honestly, I feel like the task force is meeting without me because I put up so much opposition. I'm not saying that's what's happened, I'm just saying that's the feeling that I'm getting from this.
I also sit on the task force and there has not been any meetings that have been announced and haven't been there. This is the last one.
Okay. And then one last thing, because I know I'm running out of time. 6th Street, you mentioned 6th Street and the pothole. I still have a problem with 6th Street and the speeding. I do see a little bit of patrol, but I'll tell you what, the mornings before school's starting, it's incredible. Anytime you have anything going on down on Central, it's crazy. Just 2 weeks ago, we had our 2nd drunk driver wreck in our yard. So that's the 3rd wreck in, I think, 6 years in our yard. So something needs to happen with 6th Street, especially when you start this workforce housing. You open that up, it's gonna be too busy, people are driving too fast, there are children that walk on that street, there are people who run and walk with their dogs, and there's no sidewalks, it's very unsafe. I myself will not walk 6th Street or 6th Avenue. So I'm just asking that you put a plan together before this workforce housing goes into completion on what is gonna happen with 6th Avenue. And I know you guys are busy, good old police department, but I'm asking for a little bit more patrol there. Thank you.
Thank you. On 6th Street, I walk that pretty much daily and I drive that, I don't know how many times a day. And almost every single time I'm driving up in that, I will pass a patrol officer up and down that street all day long. They always passing at different times of the day, morning, evenings. I just passed one on my way here when I went up 6th Street. So, I mean, I don't know if you're just not seeing them, but I see them all the time. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware that 6th Street is being patrolled.
We have the same thing on Comstock. It's like a racetrack.
Well, and I'm not saying that it's not happening. I sit on my porch a lot, and so I see a lot of it.
Can you come back up if you do it?
I didn't know I was allowed on 3 minutes.
Well, yeah, we try not to have back and forth, but if
So-
you say something to be on the record, it has to be on your mic.
Yeah, I sit on my porch a lot, so I do witness a lot of the speeders going by. I've often thought about just sitting there with the video and bringing it into the council and saying, here you go, here's what you saw in a half an hour. How many of those people appear to be speeding? I get people who burn their tires off in front of my house because they think it's funny. You come up over that hill and they just go vroom and they're gone. I'm not saying that the police aren't patrolling. I'm just saying I drive 6th Avenue quite a bit too, and maybe it's different times. Yeah, I'm not denying that they're not doing their job. I appreciate the police and everything that they do.
Thank you. All right, was there any other ones? Okay, thank you very much. We're adjourned.
Lisa.